Um, so hopefully for number 6, you guys got x to be 6 and -3. All I did was just factor out the expression and solve for x. And then for number 8, you should have gotten it to be -8 and -3 that n equaled. So let's think about it this way for the next set of questions. If I look at this right here, if I look ahead, there's a difference between number 10 and number 9 compared to the last ones that we did. If I look here, if I look previously, I've noticed that one side is 0. One of the things that in order to solve for quadratics, whenever I want to solve, when you want to solve a quadratic by factoring, always get one side to be 0, to be equal to 0. So when I look at this question right here, I need to get one side to be 0. So I have 3v squared equals v. So it's easier for me just to bring the v over here. So I'm going to subtract 1v from both sides. And when I do that, I get 3v squared minus 1v equals 0. So I'm going to think about this and think, well, there's no constant term. So the only way that I could factor this out is by dividing it by the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor was v, so I divide both sides by v. I get v times 3v minus 1. And then I just set each side equal to 0. So I have 3v minus 1 equals 0. I get v to be 0, add 1, add 1. I get 3v equals 1. So that means that v equals 1/3 and 0. So let's look at the next one. The same idea, I want to get one side to be 0. So because I already have a v squared on the other side, I'm going to add 49 to both sides. So right now I got 10r squared minus 49r plus 49 equals 0. So I'm going to factor out this expression. I'll make a box just so I could see it better. I got a plus 49, and then I got a 10r squared right here. So what gets me 10? 10 and 1 and 5 and 2. And then 49 is 1 and 49, 7 and 7. I'm going to just stick with 7 and 7 right here and here. And I'm not going to worry about 10 because that's going to be pretty big. So I'm going to do 10. No, I'm not going to do 10. I'm going to do 5r and 2r. And what I realize is that because that's a minus, that means that these all have to be negatives. So I'm going to take that and make that a negative 7 for both of those. So I get negative 35r and negative 14r. If I add those two, I get negative 49, so I'm good. So the factored form is 2r minus 7 and 5r minus 7 equals 0. So I'm going to set 2r minus 7 equal to 0. Add 7. I got 2r equals 7. And then divide both sides by 2. I got r to be 7/2. And then I'm going to do the same thing with 5r minus 7. I'm going to add 7. Add 7. I got 5r equals 7. So r equals 7/5. Okay. You're going to try some other ones in a second, but I do want to try to go over one other type of an example. So if you guys can jump to number 13. This has a lot more stuff that I have to move around. So the 9 is the biggest x squared, so I'm going to bring all the other stuff over to this side. So I'm going to subtract 8x squared. I get 1x squared. I'm going to add 4x. So I get negative 12x. And then subtract 7. So I got x squared minus 12x minus 7. So we'll factor it out using a box. So I got x squared minus 7. So it's going to be 1x and 1x because that's the only thing that I can multiply together that gets me x squared. I don't know. That should be 35, shouldn't it? So I got, sorry, let's backtrack here. I get plus 35 here and plus 35 here. So what gets me 35? 7 and 5 and 1 and 35. They're going to both be negatives because the middle term is negative. So I'm going to try minus 7 and minus 5. So I get minus 5x minus 7x. If I add those two, I get negative 12. So my factored form is x minus 7, x minus 5 equals 0. So I'm going to set x minus 7 equal to 0, x minus 5 equal to 0. So I get x to be positive 7, x to be positive 5. The rest of the answers are on my website, guys. Please look at them, and if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to email me or talk to me during QRP.